The Leica 35mm Noctilux might be one of the most advanced M-mount lenses Leica has ever made. So much so, it's a bit difficult to review this. I'm gonna ask somebody for help. He's the lead designer of the all-new 35 Noctilux, Dietmar Stuible, in Wetzlar, Germany. This is very enlightening for those who want the finer details of this beautiful lens. Enjoy. Hey, Dietmar, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a great, great honor. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much for your interview question here, and I'm very happy to join here. The 35 Noctilux. So I'm very proud that this lens will be launched now in January, end of January. And yeah, besides the 50mm, the 35 is the most important focal length. Yeah, it's true in photography. So therefore, it's not surprising that we bring that kind of Noctilux for the 35mm length. And I think in this range, the Noctilux will extend the photographic use cases and the versatility for the customers here, for the photographers. So it's a logical step, I think.
Can you talk a little bit about your background with Leica regarding lens design before the Noctilux? Were there any other lenses that you were involved with?
So I've been with Leica for a long time, and I started as an optical designer, and I mainly focused then on the SL lenses. So, for example, the zooms or the Apo Summicron line. And yeah, since about 2021, I'm leading the department of optics development. So it's a big team of optical designers and mechanical designers. And yeah, those experts, they are developing such great lenses as the Noctilux today. Yeah.
What was the reason for choosing 1.2 for the 35 rather than, let's say, f1 or 0.95?
So we had a phase where we studied different concepts. So because we had the same question in the beginning. And so we were discussing about exactly the aperture, and always with the aperture comes the size. So in this course of the development, we decided for the compact solution, because we thought that this is the best solution for the customer, because you can more easily carry it around, have it with you all the time. And it's not something only for the showcase or something. So it's perfectly fits to the camera and the body. So that's why.
Since you decided to go for f1.2, was there something new in the optical formula to get it this small? I mean, I've tried autofocus 35 f1.2 lenses, and they're usually quite large, but this is extremely compact. Is there something unique about the optical formula you used?
Yeah, it's a complete new optical design, and it highly depends on the optics technologies we can use. So one technology step is the PGM technology. So this is a pressed glass molds for the aspherical lenses. So aspherical lenses can now be done as double-sided A-spheres, and this is one important step to make the lens design as compact as possible. Of course, there are new glass materials inside, which helps us to make it more compact. And if you look at the optical construction, you see also that there are not only doublets, but also triplets inside. So there are three lens elements cemented together. And also this triplet has an A-sphere involved, and one surface is aspherical. And this is also something special and very expensive, but helps us to make it as compact as you see it here. On the other hand, we have the mechanical parts which help us to make it compact, regarding the focus mechanism, and also how the rangefinder is moved, the rangefinder actuator. All the mechanical parts also take its part to make it compact as possible.
So is this the first time you're using this type of technology in a lens like this, or have you tried it with other lenses in the past before bringing it to the 35 Noctilux?
Yeah, it's definitely an evolution. Yeah, we had this Sumilux lenses, the aposumicron, and now the Noctilux, and the experience and technology has been built up step by step to make this kind of lens happen. So in former days, we wouldn't be able to make such kind of lens in that size.
You know, one thing I noticed with this is when I had it in my hands and I was using it, the ease of use of grabbing focus. The focus ring has a nice tension to it, and it felt very, very precise. Was this something deliberate in the design process?
Yeah, this is one highlight from our side in the development. The background is the focusing ring and the focusing angle. So it's about 180-degree focusing angle. And so you have a long turn from infinity to close focus. And that you can precisely focus at every focus distance within the depths of sharpness or depths of field. And this is the mechanical complexity behind to allow this. From the focus mechanism, movements are in such a way, and the turning mechanics that you have this 180-degree.
Now, regarding the optics for a second, I mean, Leica's known for having very sharp lenses wide open. But this lens has almost somewhat of an oppo or APO like rendering when it's sharp and in focus, yet the background has got this very vintage-esque sort of, it's got a lot of character. Was that your intention to blend elements of the past with modern Leica lens design?
Yeah, we put a lot of effort in thinking about the character of this lens and specifying it beforehand. So it was a question, what character do we want to have? What is typical Noctilux like? How to balance the aberrations? Like you mentioned, the color aberrations and also the other aberrations. And yeah, so we decided and specified it very clearly to have such appearance as we have it now with the lens. So it's about the bokeh, creamy bokeh in the background. And the other thing is a smooth transition from the plane of sharpness to the background or foreground. Also the color aberration, so that you, when you are in the sharpness plane, it's nearly free from color aberrations. But of course, it's not on the upper level, but it's perfect for a Noctilux lens. It doesn't have to be this, yeah. So it doesn't have this clean look. It has a character like the other Noctiluxes too. What we also focused on is the contrast and sharpness. So even though we try to achieve a high level of contrast, you see it in the MTF curves we also publish. And this is also, I think, a very big benefit of when taking pictures, that you are able to separate the subject from the background or foreground. And if you have a high contrast, it's like the subject pops out of the image. It's a 3D effect somehow, yeah.
Was there any lens from Leica's past that you looked at as sort of like a reference or inspiration for this, or was this like a brand new concept?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, it's clearly the Sumilux line and the aposumicrons, and also, of course, it's in the range of the Noctilux line. So we had a close look on the Noctiluxes we already have in the portfolio, and thought about how to take over the concept in the 35mm range and how to improve it maybe, yeah.
You know, through any product design or development, there's always these challenges or trials or tribulations that come about. Was there something like that that happened with this lens along the way that was sort of a, you know, a process or a challenge to make it happen?
The main challenge with the M lenses, I would say, is the M mount, which is from 1954. As you know, it's very narrow. Yeah, it defines a narrow tube where we have to put in all the glass and the mechanics and the mechanism, focusing mechanism. And this is always a headache when we, especially if we design such kind of Noctilux lenses, because this requires a large diameter for the glass materials, for the optics. and the mechanics have to be as thin as possible to make this happen. Yeah. On top of that, we don't, or we do have a floating element implemented in the lens. So this is an additional, very complex and expensive part, which allows us to keep a stable and high optical performance from infinity to close focus. Yeah, and so that you are able to, in the portrait distance or in the close focus distance, have the same contrast and high optical performance. And this mechanism has to be implemented on top into this narrow space. And yeah, this is always the main topic. Another challenge, I would say, ghost and flare, we call it. So if you have those ghost images and flares, stray light. So for example, in the prototypes, we had some issues, some disturbing ghosts, and we put in a lot of effort to improve this, to get rid of that. And finally, we succeeded. So because this is also a very important part of the optical design and the mechanical design, because this can disturb your image quality a lot if you have it inside your lens.
Would you mind sharing how long it takes to go, let's say, from design to production as we have it here today? I mean, is that something you could share with us?
Yeah, it's definitely more than 3 years for such kind of complex lens. Yeah, so I mentioned in the beginning, there's a discussion which kind of concept we follow. You make several design concepts or feasibility studies, and then until you really start development.
All right, and one last question. Talk about AI and computational photography. Now, where do you see Leica optics heading, let's say, in the next 5 to 10 years with this?
As you know, Leica is part of the Content Authenticity Initiative. So this underlines that to Leica, the authenticity in the area of AI is most important. Therefore, it's no option for us to modify the images by AI, by adding information, fake information. And that's not our way.
All right, Dietmar, thank you very, very much. This is a great, great honor. I got to tell you, this lens is absolutely fantastic. It's magical. And what you guys have done, you've created a 35mm that will be a legend for many years to come in the Leica family. Dietmar, thank you very much.
I think this is really, we are proud of this lens, and we hope that our customers and the photographers will have a lot of fun with this lens. And of course, I like to thank you and for the interview, and I'd like to thank the team and the experts from Leica which made this happen. So the optical designers, mechanical engineers, industrialization engineers. Yeah, thank you very much.
So with that, guys, if you like this video, like, subscribe. Big thank you to Dietmar and the entire team in Wetzlar, Germany for making this interview possible. And this is a sad lens to give up, man. It is absolutely beautiful. Big thank you to the team here at Leica Singapore, and I'll chat to you all very, very soon.